All right, have not fans. I want to do a quick video. This has been a big fan request, and honestly, it might be a new series I'm doing. Where are they now? The haves and have not edition. This one's going to be about Celine Gonzalez, the ex-maid of the Cryer estate, the mistress of Jim Cryer, mother of two of his estranged children, Carlos and the little kid. I forgot his name, but anyway, the topic of this post is, where is Celine? Now, I've done some thinking, and honestly, it makes sense that we haven't seen the likes of Celine yet, and here's why. Because remember, the last time we saw Celine was, number one, when Carlos got her and the little brother to be on TV during Jim's, hey, I'm running for governor, but oh, guess what? We're going to turn this into the Jerry Springer show where we have these family members that you are pretty much neglected for their entire lives. However, we know that in terms of being a father figure, acknowledging their existence, he really didn't do that. However, Jim Cryer has paid so much child support to Celine over the years that she has to be sitting on millions of dollars. And I should have done a little bit more research before doing this video. But again, I was at work today on my lunch break and I saw my comments on a lot of videos being, Celine, where's Celine? So, I just jumped. I literally just got home from work, so I wanted to record this. And if I'm not mistaken, it was like a few $100,000 per year that Jim was giving Celine. Because remember, way back in season 1, and if I'm not mistaken, it was also teased at during season 2 when Celine kept going to Jim. Was like, I need my check for the month. It's that time of the month. Where is it? That was a nod to the child support money that Jim was giving her every month. So we know for a fact that she's sitting on millions. Why is she sitting on millions? Look at how Celine and her family have been living. Because Carlos, in my opinion, I don't think Carlos or the little brother knows that Jim Cryer has been giving Celine money like that month upon month upon month. Because after the whole, everything went down south on the TV interview, we had Jim going over to Celine's apartment and, hey, you breached our agreement, which was to, hey, you keep quiet, I'll pay you every month and you keep your job. So that let me know right there that, of course, I don't think that her kids know about the money that Jim has been paying her all those months, or excuse me, all those years. Now, we move forward to the second time Jim goes over to her apartment, and that's when, he seduces her to have sex, but also to show her how pathetic she is, saying that she, he's a judge. He knows how to change it around so she'll be getting the minimum amount of child support per month for that little bastard, even though that is his son, so that's kind of jacked up. So that let me know right there that Jim thinks they're even, because Jim even said, we're even now. And when he walked out the door, Celine was like, we're not even. So that was pretty much it. That was the last time we saw Celine. The only time we saw Celine after that was when Jim went back on television. Him and Catherine were at the, on the podium. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the same episode where David was going to announce that he was running as, governor as well. But because Jim was supposed to bow out. He was supposed to, well, I want to resign my run for governor, but no, he decided to stay in it. And during his speech, not only did we see the bloodbath of Professor Cannon and Toxic, as well as the shooter in Veronica's house to get set up, we also saw a scene of Celine looking on during the speech. So that was the last time we actually saw Celine in the show. Now, when you think, and again, I could be wrong, but you got to look at it this way: the haves and the have-nots is very slow. Here's what I mean by that. Sometimes it could be like 4 or 5 episodes, if not more, and we're in the same 24-hour period. Now, even though it's been a while since we've seen Celine on the screen, look at how much has went down between now and then. So we have Jim, Catherine, Veronica, and David get arrested by Jennifer. So that happened, if I'm not mistaken, like Friday afternoon, Friday evening. The reason I say that is because, remember, they weren't allowed to get any kind of like hearing or anything until Monday, meaning that all of them were in jail for the weekend for the most part. David was the first one out of there. Then we got to the point where Catherine got out, if I'm not mistaken, and then Veronica was next to follow, and then Jim was in there for a while. But for a while, I mean for a few days. So based off the fact that Jim got out, found that Jennifer Salzman was shot, and within the same 24-hour period, a lot of stuff went down between, you know, the Youngs as well as the Harringtons. You look at the fact that Wyatt had Quita and the guy were at his house when, you know, they abducted him, so to speak, with the gunpoint. So you got to look at the time for where last season when Catherine had the house clean and say, you know what, she was done with this, she's gone. If I were, and then we look at where we are now, because again, we're in the same day right now, based off the episodes, everybody's at the hospital. If I were to guess, I would say that no more than, I want to be honest here, I don't even think a week has passed in the haves and the have-nots from the time that, you know, the Criers and the Harringtons got arrested after the, you know, political campaign on TV, up until where we are now in the show with Melissa in the hospital, Wyatt in the hospital. And that's just me being nice about it. I don't think even a week has passed. So when you think about when Celine is coming back, she said that they're not even. So there's something big in store that she has planned for Jim, in my opinion. Now, when do I think Celine's coming back? Here's the thing you got to look at in terms of the story. If you notice, every time Jim thinks he's in a good spot or a good position, or he's finally in a position to, you know, win for a change, something bad happens. I feel like, you know, Wyatt might be out of his, you know, drug-induced state right now. Well, he's not on drugs, but, you know, he's going through the rehabilitation stage. I feel like everything, well, maybe not everything, but there's going to be some ups in his life, because God knows Jim Cryer needs it right now. His son is getting the help he needs. He's trying to stop a gang war from happening between the Malones and Warlock. He's also trying to keep his own, well, what's left of his reputation out of the hellhole with the whole pictures and videos that Candace got of him. But remember, the DA has that now. His wife is pretty much on the verge of divorcing him. He has no home right now. So I don't think, and again, this is just me being honest, I don't think we're going to see Celine for quite some time, because there's so much going on. I don't even think it would be appropriate for her to jump back in there, because again, there's so much going down that I don't think she's relevant to the story right now. Again, I don't think she's irrelevant to the overall plot. I'm saying at this very moment, there's just so much going down that I don't think it would be a good idea to throw her into the mix at this moment. And something else I was thinking about while I was, you know, considering what to put in this video, I think I even said this a long time ago in a blog. If you look back at towards the end of season 2, I think it was right at the beginning of the finale of season 2 when Amanda shot herself. The episode before that, that's when Landon gave Carlos some paperwork, because remember at the time, that's when Jim Cryer had his campaign office, and Carlos was working there because Jim Cryer's working here. And then it turns out, oh yeah, he knows him because that's his dad. Now he got the paper the documents. He went over to Jim's house, dropped them off. Then Celine walked by. What are you doing here? Then they had the giant fallout. And Jim, all he had to do, and again, this might be off subject, but kind of look at season 2 was the opportunity for Jim to turn a lot of stuff around in his life. Number one, remember, if he had helped Benny in terms of moving him from that, you know, county hospital to like I believe it was Mercy Hospital, basically the name brand hospital in the Savannah area instead of the store brand county hospital that Benny was at. If he had done that for Candace, remember, she was going to quote unquote abort the baby that she was pregnant with, give him back the rest of the money that she, you know, blackmailed from him. This was the $100,000, not the $7.4 million that she got later on. She was pretty much going to go away from his life completely, but he wouldn't help her. Then you look at this scenario where, you know, Carlos is there talking to Jim about how he was never a father. And then Celine in the next episode was like, all he wants is your, you know, just to get to know you, get to know his dad. He outright assumed that it was all about the money and stuff like that and told her off. And speculation is still going on that Celine or Carlos was the one to kill Amanda. But again, I did that in another video. But again, season 2 was just Jim being an asshole. There were plenty of times where he could have shut down a lot of the negative things that would have eventually happened in his life had he had just opened his ears and his heart and listened, because Carlos didn't want any money from him. He just wanted his time. Candace was literally about to give it all up to save her brother, but he wouldn't do that to help her as well, you know, wouldn't help her as well. So looking at Celine, man, I even said that maybe at some point Jim's going to lose it all, and then Celine and his sons are going to be the only thing he has left. Maybe he'll lose both his children. He's already lost one. Wyatt was knocking on death's door during that, when he OD'd. Catherine's literally about to leave him. So would that finally put him in a position to actually give his two other sons the time of day? I don't know. So with that being said, that's pretty much just my 2 cents on Celine coming back into the series. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon because there's just way too much stuff going down right now. The only reason I can see her coming back is if, she got in the middle of the gang war and her and the two sons got shot. Honestly, that's the only thing I can think of. But again, that shows you how ridiculous it would be for her to come at this point. I mean, but then again, you got to look at it this way. If there is a gang war, Mama Rose said that she's about to let the town of Savannah know who's in charge again. So I said in previous videos before, we don't know where, when, and who's going to be involved in this gang war, and the civilians might be shot up. Because remember, when she was on the manhunt for a warlock, she's like, I don't care, burn or get rid of any man, women, or child to get in your way. So that lets me know nobody is safe during this gang war. It's not just going to be Malone versus Warlock and his crew. There could be any innocent bystanders. So I feel that Celine will eventually come back. Not now. That's just my opinion. So please let me know in the comment section below. When do you think Celine's going to come back? How do you think Celine's going to come back? I think the most important thing is, will Carlos know the truth about Jim actually paying Celine all that money each month, but they never seen any of it? Because remember, when Wyatt was bashing Celine about, well, not bashing, that was the wrong word, interrogating Celine. Remember when Jim got abducted by Warlock? Wyatt woke up after hearing a gunshot. Well, we don't know if he woke up right after he heard the gunshot, but he woke up, pretty much walked around the house, went to the front door, saw Jim's phone, got drunk while reading all the texts from pretty much all of his mistresses, Celine, Candace, previous babysitters, if I'm not mistaken, and the list goes on. And then from there, Celine was there the next morning, and then when Wyatt was on top of her, she was pretty much talking about how he's a spoiled brat that was given everything, while her son had to work his way through college. So that let me know again that with all that money, she never spent any of it on her children, so to speak. It was pretty much the money she probably made for, being a maid and her husband, because remember she kept telling Hannah back in season 1 that she has a husband. So I don't know. There's so much that's going down. Maybe, and again, if I were to speculate, I would say that she probably stockpiled the money because Carlos kept saying that he's not coming back, because Celine was probably hoping that Jim would eventually come back. And to show that it wasn't about the money, she never spent any of the, child support money. Maybe she's bought the necessities, but she never spent it on lavish living. Hence why they live in one of the most rundown parts of, Savannah, Georgia. But again, I didn't expect to, ramble on a little bit more about it, but I just want to cut the video off here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as well as other video ideas. What other missing characters from the haves and the have-nots do you think should come back, and why?